Welcome back to the TWIBDS episode 2, TWI, the What I've Been Doing show, episode 2. You're going to hear a pretty juicy story about what it took to build this lens, some of the people that were involved. These are just a few of the characters, and I'm going to try to introduce other people as well that weren't able to make it or that are just side, people that really helped me out and just threw me a bone. It's a really good story. We all really put in our all. I'm super proud of everyone that was, stepped up and got involved. It was great. So grab some popcorn and tune in for my brother and his friends explaining their side of the story.
All right, take one, action.
Wait, is the red light on?
Yeah. All right.
Ew, let me put my
cut.
nose
Put that one away. Take two.
Why do you hit the mic?
Shh. Take two.
You see this shit?
Shh. Take three.
You're saying take 3 and you didn't even click
Take
every
four.
time.
Take 4.
Oh my god. I'll do the intro?
Yeah, wait. You do the
Alright,
intro.
yeah.
All right, cut. All right,
What's the
take
intro?
5.
I got you. What's going on?
All right.
Good. What's going on? We're the Goon Squad. I'm Dante. It's my boy Georgie. That's Nikki. We're missing Aiden, but that's okay. So we're here to talk to you all about our part of Scrap Can.
So, Scrap I just unlocked in a memory.
Well, hey.
Scrap all of that.
Scrap Can. Scrap Can. Project Scrap Can. Project Scrap Can. Scrap Can.
Should I start with how he approached me with
Yep.
an idea?
And then, did you approach us, or did he?
Collectively,
Oh, it was the firehouse because he brought it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was talking about it for a while.
We usually do. We usually, because we're looking for hands, and I'm like, oh well, I know 3. Well, I know 3 beautiful boys.
All right.
Ready for action.
All right. So my brother Miles, he approached me a while ago. Can't remember when, but he's always got these ideas, and he always loves sharing them with me and brainstorming. And he came up to me with this idea about a giant lens. I don't know, it's so funny. So he came up to me one day and he's like, George, I want to build a 30-foot long camera. Instantly I was down for it. I love listening to ideas, I love brainstorming. We sat there for a few hours and we went over his idea of it, and we made small altercations together just from being able to talk about it with somebody else and actually clash heads and put our brains together. But we ended up going to bed late at night, probably 1 in the morning, and usually that's kind of where our conversations end. But the next day he comes up to me and we kept on talking about it. And soon I fully invested, and I can see this happening just as much as he can. So as I was out brainstorming about this camera, we were thinking, what is he going to take a picture of? And so a while ago, maybe 2 or 3 months before the idea of the camera, we were on our way back from visiting our brother who lives in Connecticut, and on TikTok, my For You page, came a group of monks that were walking across America for peace. They were walking from Texas to Washington, D.C. And I brought this up, and I just thought it was a cool thing. We talked about it for a little bit, and then went along with our car ride. But that night, when we were brainstorming, we realized that the monks would be a great thing to take a picture of. And so our deadline was when the monks were arriving in Washington, D.C.
That was really good.
Right?
Smash cut deadline. Washington D.C. monk arrival.
BAM!
I've got 3 friends, very close friends, that are always down to do projects, especially with Miles. Miles is very inspirational, and we're all set up for it. So I brought up my 3 friends. Here's 2 of them, but one of them's not able to make it. And from there, he loved the idea of getting more hands on deck, and we went to the firehouse, and he talked to the 3 of us, or the 3 of them, and we were Alright,
And the
that's all I'm
rest
doing
is
for now.
history.
That's all I'm saying for now.
I was at the firehouse, and I was sitting there at the table. Miles was back. You know, he's going to school, so every time he comes back, it's super exciting to see him. He always got some witty projects he's working on and whatnot. And so him and George pitched this idea. What if we build a 30-foot camera? And I'm thinking, 30 feet. That's 30 feet, and a camera is like 3 inches wide. You know what I'm saying?
He was like trying to almost like visualize to me like this crazy idea he had. Like for the life of me, I couldn't picture it in my head at all. I was like, there's no way that this is actually possible. Like in the back of my head, I had like a little notion. I thought that if anyone was capable of it, it would be Miles, because he's no stranger to very large projects and adventures like this one. So I was curious to hear more about it.
I thought it was really, really crazy, but I knew that these guys have crazy minds that it could get done. So I was like, you know what? Let's go for a ride. Let's do it.
We both ended up actually getting new jobs, both very demanding. I got a bunch of new tools. I was learning how to weld, and we'd come home together after long shifts, and we would continue to focus on that camera and brainstorm. Miles would come home with a bunch of boxes and Amazon packages coming left, right. We'd start going to Dante's garage and putting just stuff together.
I knew that it would be hard, but the one thing I did know for 100% certainty is I got the garage. I got the space and the location as to which we were going to be building. I had the faith and hope into them that I was so willing to allow them to use my space. What I added to the group was the location and tools needed and whatnot like that. I had a lot going on with school at the time, so my dedication leading up to the day of was lacking, but I never gave up hope on the guys.
And then, you know, he started to get more serious about it. We went to the scrapyard that one time he was bringing up looking for some parts, you know, some stuff like that. And then he got into the workshop, you know, and then it was just day after day. I had class most of those days, but I would just come after as much as I could, and he would be in there every single day just working on it, doing a different thing. And like me and Aiden and Dante and George would be there to help out, you know, as we could occasionally. But it was like just the commitment of like him being able to work on that day after day after day. It was like,
I'd swing in after work or whatever, check it out, and every day it was more and more amazing at the progress they had, the new stuff, more sketches, to the point where it was actually in front of my face, and I was like, oh my god, guys, this is it. So up until it was a week or so before the day of the shooting date, I was fully committed, and I started coming out, being with the guys, you know, helping out here and there, giving them tools. We'd go on runs for parts, whatever we needed, because I wanted this to be legit. I didn't really know what was really going on until that last week.
I love, like, he introduced himself. He did it, but he did by what he had to give.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And during that time, I was also working on my own projects, so I was learning how to weld and how to grind, and, you know, a lot of metalworking, which I've never done in my life.
Scrap Cam.
Project Scrap Cam!
Project Scrap Cam.
Scrap Cam.
When did we figure out that name?
I figured that name. We
were in the
group chat.
Josh.
We were thinking of a name for
we were
a name for like
Instagram.
a
Making
social media. Yeah.
So yeah, we were trying to figure out a Instagram social media handle because we wanted to document it as everything was going on, because we were making big moves and we were coming up like really close to the day of the shoot, and we're like, nobody knows about this, and maybe people should. You know, maybe we get people on our side, whether it be logistics or fans or, you know, publicity people. So we're sitting around my kitchen table. We got about 8 of us in my house, and we're at the kitchen table. And I had a photography project, and I needed to take pictures of all of them. So we were already at my house, like a plethora of us, and we're like, you like that? We're like, what are we? what is this? What project? What can we give it? So we're coming up with all these like wacky names, like use an underscore, this word, that word, and make it super ominous. And then we're like, what actually is it? And it's a scrap cam.
Scrap cam.
Scrapyard parts, and it's a camera. So scrap cam kind of worked.
That was weird.
And then we got that beautiful, beautiful shot of that the night or like 3 nights before. We're in the U-Haul. Roll the clip.
On me, scrap game on 3. 1, 2, 3,
scrap
jam!
So,
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember now. I forgot what you were
oh,
talking
okay,
about.
I think
yeah,
we're almost at the good part.
Yeah, we're almost at the
Yeah.
good part where we all can get a little juicy
Yeah.
and
Good,
creamy.
go for it.
So, we're a week in, or we're a week off. So we're a week off. So we're a week off of the deadline, and
A week out from the deadline. Sorry. Grammar not.
So we're a week out from the deadline, and we're working with parts of the lens that if we mess up, the whole thing is
There's no
ruined.
going back.
So much money will be down the drain. We're working with custom CNC machine cut glass and
Oh, yeah.
steel and this expensive rubber, and everything had to be cut and set up perfectly. And so we're all kind of feeling the stress, but not too much yet. And we're still going right after work, and we're staying there till 10, 11, 12. And we're going home and just rinse and repeat. That's all I got for now.
No, it's good.
All right, Nick, hop in there.
Do you want me to introduce the day before, or like what else do you want me
I'll
to
leave
do?
the day before.
It
No,
was
no.
like 3 days before.
Yeah.
Because
We have to talk about the finger incident.
Yeah.
So what had happened? It was we wanted to test run Thursday. So I think it was Thursday night. You guys had the lens at Aiden's, and I had come over after.
Yeah.
It was you and I. That
We came late.
we came late.
For some reason.
Yeah.
But the original plan was
Oh.
to test run on a Thursday, right? And
No,
then,
we wanted
but
test
the original plan was to test on
test
Thursday.
on Thursday,
That's what I just.
but then
Okay.
it was
Wait.
it was
Yeah,
Wednesday.
okay, wait.
Oh, no, it must have been Wednesday then.
Wait.
No,
So then
no.
you guys,
The
were you
original-
guys in the basement in the beginning?
Yeah.
I was
No, not at the
I was
beginning.
on
But the original plan was to test on Thursday.
Yeah.
But by the end of Thursday night, we were working on the lens. We were getting the finishing
Yeah.
touches on. The main issue is that it weighed 200 pounds and it was at the bottom of Aiden's basement, down a flight of stairs.
So I think I'll talk up until Miles messes up his finger, and then I go out, and then you guys can come in, and you guys can talk.
'Cause that is
about-
where the
you
switch
can-
happened.
Can we talk about us walking up?
That's literally what he
Yeah.
that's where the
Yeah,
switch
Then
happened.
you guys talk about
Oh,
that.
so we'll talk about us like entering, and then you can
As
be
he's
like,
exiting,
you
it's like
can
a switch.
Yeah.
you can tell us like what actually happened. Can I talk about that?
I
Because
don't
it
really
was
care
it was
what
over
you're
a
talking
phone
about.
call.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool.
All right, so we're about 3 days. No, we're 2 days out, right?
2 days out from our prep day.
2 days
our
out from
test.
the actual test run. We were gonna do 2 test runs beforehand,
Yes.
one on
So
Thursday,
like
one on
we're
Friday.
about 2 days up. 2 days
Right.
out from our test day.
Alright.
That was
But-
on Thursday, and the event was happening on Saturday.
But we didn't get everything prepared in time for a test run on Thursday, so Thursday night we were still trying to finish up the lens for a test run on Friday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're about 2 days out from our test run, and the test run was the day before we were going to go drive all the way to Washington D.C. and take the picture of the monks. And so we are all feeling a lot of pressure. We're all tired and overworked and stressed, and we were kind of all getting kind of nasty with each other too, just because there's so much stress. But we got everything cut, and we're ready to assemble this lens. And so we're sitting in Dante's garage, and we realized that we cannot assemble this inside that garage. It was just too dusty, and it was freezing cold. So we ended up taking every little piece of the lens, and
We brought into Aiden, who's not here, his basement, which is down a flight of stairs. Remember that.
2 flights.
2 flights. Remember
Down, turn, level, down, and you're in.
that. Remember that.
And so now that we're in his basement, it's finally warm and it's carpeted, so it's very comfortable. And we lay this out and we start gluing and layering, just piece by piece. And late that night, we finally had the lens together, glued, and we had weight on it, sitting, letting it dry. And so we go home, we all go to bed, and the next day, now we're 1 day out of the test. Oh no, we did it.
So, the plan originally was to test run it Thursday and Friday, and then have an actual test Saturday before taking it up. It wasn't finished by that time on Thursday, so we were going to try to finish, assembling the lens and gathering the pieces for a test run on Friday before Saturday for the actual test run.
Yeah, because we wanted to make sure that it would fit and line up.
Alright, so
Thursday turned from being a test day into a let's just get the finishing touches done day for a test run on Friday.
So now we're 1 day out from the test day, and we get home from work. At this point, it was just Aiden, Miles, and I in Aiden's basement. We checked in on it, seemed to dry perfectly, and the lens was, pretty solid. And so we're ready to pull it out. But we realized that we built this thing in the basement, and now we got to get up the stairs. And so we thought it would be pretty easy, and we stand it up, and we can't roll it because it's got 2 pins on either side of it, and so we had to lift it up and carry it vertically. And so we work it to the stairs, but this thing's, I believe it's like 200 pounds without any liquid in it. And so we're at the bottom of the stairs, and it's too wide for the stairwell, so we have to turn it sideways and carry it that way. So it's really awkward. And, well, Miles and I had a plan. He was going to squat down above it and pull it up step by step, and I was going to stand below it and hold it and push it up step by step. And we probably get to the 5th step, and he pulls up. I push up, and he crushes his finger underneath the lens. He jumps up, and he was shaking his hand around, and, just breathing heavy, and I'm holding that lens up, and he just walks away, and I didn't know what happened, and I was stuck on the stairs, just holding that 200-pound lens, making sure I wasn't going to fall down. But probably about a minute later, he walks down the stairs, and he's holding his hand, and his hand's filled with blood, and, well, he cut his finger pretty bad, and we ended up getting it halfway up the stairs. We were able to lay it down because there's a place that it was able to lay down, and we all sat around the dining room table. It was Aiden, Miles, and I sitting at the dining room table, and all of our emotions were everywhere. We kind of all felt devastated. We felt like this was it. Miles, the brains behind everything, was out, and all of us kind of didn't fully understand how this thing worked. It's not something very super easy to understand. But we are sitting at the table, and he shows me the cut, and I thought for sure he was going to need stitches. So we sent him off to the emergency room, and before he left, I looked at him, and I told him that we were going to get this thing set up tonight.
So, day before the legit day of testing for the lens itself, I'm just heading out from the firehouse with Nick, and we're driving because we were planning on meeting Aiden and the guys over at Aiden's house to assist with this lens. We knew we had to get it over. We needed to get it up out of the basement into the truck to then drive it to the U-Haul for prep phase 1. And that was our quest for the night. Well, Nick had just picked me up. We're driving down Main Street, and I get a call from, I believe it was George, and he sounded very flustered. And he's like, "Yo, Miles is hurt real bad. I don't know what's going on. If we might be over, and it might be done." So I was like, "Yo, Nick, bust a Yui." We swing down to my house. I literally barge through the room into my house, go down the hall, grab my med box, get back in the car. We haul butt down to Aiden's house. He's about a minute down the road, and we come in there hot. And I walk up. I literally run up the stairs with his box, and thankfully the door's open. I just fucking barge right in, and I'm like, "Yo, like, what's going on? what is it? Because George didn't really tell me much over the phone. And I literally slammed the box down on the counter. I opened it out, started taking out gauze and wraps and everything I had. And Miles is sitting there like, I've never seen this kid look this devastated. He's like flush, you know. I'm looking at his hand. There's blood. You know. So we're all trying to cater to him, make sure he's okay. And you could tell that he's not really thinking about the hand. He's thinking about, you know, the camera, and, you know, you can see the stress levels. It was high in that room. So eventually his dad shows up. They take him away. You know, he goes down to urgent care, and it was a struggle. We were all looking over our phones to see what hospitals, what places were open. So by the time Miles and his dad head out, we're sitting there, and you could see George is stressed. So Aiden and I are like, let's check out, because I don't think Aiden was lifting it before. I knew it was Miles and George, and obviously I wasn't there at the time. So we go down to the platform on the stairs, the landing where the lens had been set, and I'm like, you know what? This is no problem. We're getting this thing up one way or another, you know. So I sort of bear hug this thing. Once we get it on its side, I kind of just get up under it, you know, have Aiden support the back up on, like, above me on the steps, and kind of just muscle this thing out. We got it up no problem, because it wasn't, so the second stretch of steps is a little shorter than the main set, so I got under it, we got it up onto the carpet, and then we took steps of, all right, 1, 2, 3, up, take 5 steps, and repeat until we got to the couch, and we set it down, and we realized there's blood on it, you know, and we're like, oh, we got blood on the lens, on the edge. Thankfully, it wasn't actually on the glass, and now there's blood on the couch. So we're catering to this, figuring it all out. Thankfully, we did get it up that night, and eventually we do get it into the back of the truck using that same set process, and kind of heaving and hoeing. But we got it out, and it was definitely a drastic, like, crucial night that messed us all up. But that's all I got.
Cool. Yeah. So after Miles was gone and the lens was up, I felt, you know, just a huge wave of stress. You know, it's like I, in the group, had the closest understanding of how this thing works, and I did not want to let Miles down. So I really tried to step in as much as I could, and from there, you know, I tried to collect myself and collect the guys, and we ended up continuing. And so I had to run to the shop after we had the lens thrown into the truck, and I started welding the mount. And so the mount, you know, we spent a long time. That was a long night. We were out there very late, just working and trying to get things set up so that tomorrow we could do the test run.
Because just when we thought it was over, we get this beautiful call from Miles with, yo, I'm alright. So we get somewhat of this joy filled. We're like, alright, it's gonna be okay. We can still push ahead. And, you know, it definitely eased some tension, but there was still a challenge ahead, you know. But I still remember, like, the feeling of when Miles, like, returned and we got to the U-Haul. And I've never seen a U-Haul this big, so, you know, he goes to it, unlocks it, does the big latch, and rolls it up, and then he says, roll the clip.
We're back in business.
Yeah! Oh wait, no, then it was Friday night.
What? It was the night before?
Yeah, it was the night before.
It was,
Oh,
because
then
that
the
was
next day-
Friday night.
Yeah, because your hand was fucked still on that day.
Yeah.
You wanted
So
to do
it's-
a practice run the
Because
night
we were
before.
gonna shoot, I think, Sunday morning.
Yes, we were gonna get it all set
And
up.
so
The
we
plan
had
was to leave for DC Saturday.
So we were gonna leave
Yeah.
for DC Saturday,
Prep in the
but
morning.
Saturday was like it just get,
Yeah.
it was cold as shit.
Saturday, it was
Yeah,
like
it was
it was like a real
Yeah, it
feel
was-
of like negative,
yeah.
like whatever. It was
Yeah,
No,
it
it
was
was the
Yeah.
coolest day
I'm so
of the
excited
year.
to talk about that. I just want to talk about the tape.
Yeah.
Oh my
The
God.
tape, you could rub itself together and it fucking was gliding off of itself. You take Gorilla Glue. No. You take Gorilla Tape and duct tape. And they're sliding. That's how cold it was.
Might as well be 2 bars of soap.
No, seriously, it was like 2 pieces of aluminum foil. Just.
So we planned to wake up early. All of us planned to wake up
And we
early.
all
we were
overslept.
fired up though.
Yep,
Because
all
there
of
was
us-
that. Yeah.
All of us overslept. 'cause it
Literally
was
all
a
of us.
late
And we're
night.
like, are we even doing it today? And we're like, are you dumb? What kind of question is that?
And so,
The
we
pressure was on.
Oh, pressure so high. But we walk outside, and I'm pretty sure all of us underdressed because this,
No, we
day,
literally all did.
this day was the coldest day of the year, and we all bundled up, and well, from probably 9 a.m. to what 6 p.m. You know, 8, 9 a.m.
It was
6
like a
p.m.
10-hour shift.
Yeah, it was like a big clock appeared over our heads in
Yeah.
the sky, and it was crunch time.
Yeah. So we all meet up at the U-Haul, and we open up the door, and we kind of get things rolling. You know, we ended up getting
Get the ball rolling.
we ended up getting the ball rolling, and so we start thinking about how are we gonna pump this fluid into the lens, and on a day this cold, this type of fluid when it drops below a certain temperature, it turns into like a gel.
It wasn't looking pretty,
No.
considering the weather.
Nope. And so I reach out to the fire department, and we get
Nelson.
Yep. Nelson reached out to me. It was like, "Hey George, I got a little heater. Not sure if it's exactly what you're looking for, but you can borrow it." And so I get that little thing, and it doesn't heat much, but we kind of put it in the truck and turn it on, hopefully to warm the truck up a little bit, because all of us were just freezing.
The U-Haul truck, not the pickup truck.
Yes, the U-Haul.
Imagine that. Driving in your passenger seat, just have a space heater. That's the face you just made.
Yeah, no, that little thing wasn't going to be powerful enough to heat as much as we needed. Nick and I, right?
Yeah, it was
Nick
just
and
us.
we ran out to Home Depot, and we were looking at all these different space heaters, and
There was like a lot of space heaters.
A lot of them.
It was like a huge wall of space heaters.
unrelated, but there's like a 5-gallon thing of petrol that was poured all over the floor in Home Depot next to space heaters.
It's a little
and they're trying to
concerning,
clean it up.
yeah.
And so there's a little crowd, there's a little crowd, and
Couple guys
And
around, yeah.
some little dude recognized or little guy notices that
Little guy.
it was just like a little guy. He notices that we were all looking at these space heaters, but we had no clue what we were looking at. And he walks up and he points out this little DeWalt, this little propane powered DeWalt heater. And he says, "That's the one you need." And I was like, "All right." And I said, "Very important. Does this thing need to be plugged in?" He's like, "No, it runs just off propane." I was like, "This is perfect." And so I buy it, and
Because you think that normally you could trust like the word of mouth from someone in a Home Depot, like you can.
You
can
sir.
and you could
Sir.
tell he had like a
He-
sense of like credibility.
he has
almost.
one.
Yeah.
He's certain. And so we go back to the garage, and we plug the wall. We open it up. Turns out it has to be plugged in. That's a huge issue because we don't have an outlet now. We don't have an outlet. It's in the middle of a U-Haul truck. And so when we plug it in, we give it a test run, and this thing's shooting out flames like 4 feet long. It was like a giant flamethrower. It's super intense. Way overkill. We did not need that. The mount that was going to hold the lens, it was going to slide into the hitch, and it was going to hold that lens. And when we lifted that thing up and went to go drop it in, it was a bit too big. And so that's when I split from the group. I threw that thing into the pickup truck, just the mount, And I brought it over to the garage, and I start cutting up. I finally get the pieces where it needs to be, and I go to start welding, and I ran out of welding wire. Ran out of welding wire. It's the last thing I had to weld. And so I'm freaking out. I had to do that. I also had to make an insulation box for the liquid. And so I reached out to Dante, and I said, Dante and Miles.
The first time I ever drove with Miles in the vehicle.
There you go. And so, first time I ever drove with Miles in the vehicle, I sent them to get the wire that I needed, and I kind of switched my focus over to the insulation box. And slowly, the day kind of starts dissolving, and it gets pretty rough.
So.
The tape.
Oh yeah, we're good there. Amidst all of whole heating and welding and all that fun jazz, there's like still like 7 of us or whatever. We still got bodies. It's not like just 2 of them working. So I was here at the Brandel abode with Brian, their father, and we have this pump, and we got to get this fluid into it. The issue is the fluid has like particles and nonsense all up in the jug. So we use like said pump with fluid. In order to get all these flakes and whatnot out, we use coffee filters. But the fluid it's got some viscosity.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, so we're pouring it in to the coffee filters, and it's taking forever.
Slow pour.
Yeah, but the only good thing about the slow pour, and it taking a while, was that it was warm in the house. I was able to come in like, oh yeah, I'm helping out. We're gonna fill this up. Oh, it's so nice in here. Had some orange slices and whatnot. It was real nice.
Yeah.
So eventually we get it full. Guys start repopulating, and we go outside, and again, it is still cold, even colder than the morning, surprisingly. So we're like, all right, we got to mount the plastic wrap around everything. It was kind of like garbage bag material, somewhat. So we're like, all right, we'll just tape it up, tape it up and around, tape it in, we'll be good. So we get our stuff ready, about to go lay it out and cut the shape. And what do you know? Tape doesn't work in freezing weather. So I have this roll I have duct tape and Gorilla Tape. And I'm trying to tape it to a plastic bag. And it was almost as if I was... How can we get this one?
Rubbing those shock pads together.
No, we're going to go slippery.
You see the
It was
100%.
Yeah, it was good. It was almost as if you got a ghost wipe. If you know, you know. If not,
Like 2 banana peels. Like you're rubbing 2 empty banana peels together.
you are rubbing. I got one more in me.
because of how cold it was. That was happening because it was that cold outside.
The freezing weather was freezing the sticky. Another point of how cold it was, we were tightening the screws around the lens, and we were using Sharpie to mark which ones we had already torqued down. Sharpie was drying in the freezing weather, so we eventually got like paint markers or something, but we'd write with the Sharpie. 2 seconds later, gone. So yeah, that's just the next one. Yo, next one, game 1.
Knicks in 4, baby.
Knicks in 4.
Future me, did the Knicks sweep in 4? We'll see.
But yeah, so that's how cold it was. So, after the whole tape debacle, we kind of come inside, and it's me, Miles, and Brian. We're sitting around the kitchen table. We're eating. We're eating orange slices. They were hitting that day, and we're like, all right, well, how are we gonna get this plastic to mount upon the U-Haul? And I'm like, oh, we were just at Harbor Freight. The free gift of the day was long magnets. Why don't we just go get a bunch of those? So in talks, I'm looking online to see how much they are, how big they are, how many we need. Brian goes out with like a heavier magnet to go and make sure everything is magnetic, right? It wasn't. He comes in, he's like,
Not at all.
no, he's like, I tested inside, outside, sliding door. He tested every part of
That
this
could have
wall.
been magnetic.
That could have nothing, no dice. So we're down and out because that took a decent amount of brain energy thinking of the pivot from taping to magnets. Don't judge us, it was a long day. So then we're talking to Miles and Brian, and we're all just kind of accepting the fact.
Sorry.
Kind of accepting the fact.
Oh boy.
Don't oh boy me, it's you.
Yeah, go.
Go.
Sorry, Pat.
Just go.
Kind of accepting the fact that that was it. You know, we're probably gonna have to wrap this up and resume it at another date. But it was sort of like putting down a dog that was like really sick. So it's like,
Oh my god.
it's kind of okay.
We
'cause-
fought.
What?
We fought to the last.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
It was
yeah.
not like a just turn over
No,
and give
yeah.
up type
It
of
wasn't
thing.
a give up. It was like we came to
There were a lot of
agreements
pivots.
with
There were
it.
a lot of pivots.
You know, that day there was so much wrong happening that we were kind of just the first idea we got. We're like, oh, we have to go with it. That's it because we have no more time. So we discussed it. We're like, all right, it's okay. We'll do it on another time, or whatever the discussion was. That we weren't as stressed and we were okay with pausing, not ending, just pausing. So then we called George to break the news because he was still at the shop, working himself to the bone, we'll say, and because he was on grind mode, but obviously wasn't there for when we just had this great conversation of the pausing of Scrap Camp.
Yeah, so I got the call, and you know they were just telling me all the bad news. I mean, it was just layered, like one after another after another. It was exhausting, but literally everything that could have went wrong that day went wrong, including the weather. And so, you know, I get the call, and he's like, I think we're gonna call it. And you know, my spirit was so broken that it was still intact in a way, you know. And I couldn't let go. You know, I was over the phone, you know, kind of like yelling that it's not over. You know, it's not over. We're still going, and you know, I had just enough faith to keep pushing.
So for the final hurrah, George comes back and he's still got that fire in him. And you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm in it. Screw it. Let's do it. So he definitely got me in his motivation. He definitely got me. So
Like I said, I just couldn't accept the fact that we were done. So I you know, try to spark a little more belief in everybody, and we ended up starting up a little more again. You know, so we finally start putting stuff together again. We're all exhausted. It was freezing cold, and none of us could feel our fingers. And we ended up getting that the mount with for the lens. We ended up getting that into the hitch, and we picked the lens up, and
we let go, and it's not standing up straight. The lens is flat across, and that was because of the way that I was mounted. So the center of gravity was flat, and it wasn't set because the pegs that it was sitting on were not centered because obviously that's where the glass was. So the center of gravity wasn't allowing it to stand up flat. And that's when it definitely got dangerous because we were using bungee cords. We were trying to piece something together to just hold the weight at the bottom. But this thing is, you know, almost 200 pounds, and a bungee cord isn't going to get a shot. You know, it's not going to hold this lens straight. And that is really when the towel was thrown in.
Miles looks at me, and he looks at everybody else, and he says, "This is it. It's starting to get dangerous." And I mean, we definitely should have called it the first time we thought about calling it, because things kind of did get dangerous. We started making calls without thinking about them, and we started, you know, risking our health for this camera. We had 30 minutes left of the U-Haul rental. We were like, that's it. So we called it. Miles drove the U-Haul back. And we all felt different things, and I ended up just going in my room. I laid down, and I felt broken because it was like a week of nonstop work, and I don't think I've ever invested this into something as much as I did into this. I put every last drop of effort I had into this, and to run out of time, and for a day like that, just to continuously shooting us down, it ruined me, and it was just like a feeling I've never felt before, because I've never worked so hard, and I'm sure we all were feeling that feeling of just it's almost like a sadness in a way. But after we packed it up, our family decided that we were still going to go to Washington and visit the monks. And we called Dante, Aiden, and Nick.
But mind you, the next day, I don't think we got this brought up, but the next day was the Super Bowl, and I had a lot to cook. So I'm thinking about it that I would have to. So it's a 3-hour drive there, and it was already like 6. So we get there 9, 10 o'clock, and nobody ate that entire day. No one ate. So we'd have to drive out, eat, get to the Airbnb, go right to sleep to wake up early for the monks, and then I was gonna have to immediately. I don't even think I was gonna make it to the monks. I'd have to go straight home to go to the store to start cooking to make it on time for the Super Bowl party. So that was my teetering top of, I don't think I'm going to Washington tonight. And I as much as it sucked, because this is all we've been wanting to go for, it was something that I had to come to an acceptance and agreement on.
It ended up just being my family, my girlfriend, driving to Washington, D.C. And, I mean, we still made a nice trip out of it, but we weren't able to get the picture that we wanted. But, like we said earlier, Scrap Cam is just paused. It's delayed. It's gonna happen.
It ain't over until we win. It ain't over until Scrap Cam gets that shot that will look like there's people standing at their height wherever the picture lands.
We've got unlimited time right now, and we're looking. Miles, he's been sketching out ideas, and he's been thinking a lot about it and how he's going to improve it. But I think the biggest question is, what are we going to take a picture of?
I'm excited to find out.
Who isn't? This is Scrap Cam. We can do whatever we want. This is Scrap Cam, man. We are clearly the strongest hive mind in the situation.
What does that mean?
That was
Plug
great.
Dynamis. Strength, energy, form. Plug
cut this
Dynamis.
out.
That was a good shot.